Margaret Collins died on a Tuesday morning in October. Her son, Daniel, was 44 years old. He had been meaning to visit for 3 months. He kept telling himself after the project deadline, after the kids' school play, after things settled down. Things never settled down. And on that Tuesday morning, his phone rang at 6:14 a.m., and something in his chest knew. Before he even answered, he told me this 2 years later. He said, "The worst part wasn't the loss. The worst part was that I thought I had more time. I was so sure I had more time, and nobody had ever told me that the time runs out while you're busy with other things." Daniel Collins, 44, project manager, Portland, Oregon. This video is about grief, the real kind. The kind nobody prepares you for. Stay with me. Is what nobody tells you about grief. They tell you about the 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. They hand you that list like it's a roadmap. Like grief is something with directions. They don't tell you that grief smells like their coat. They don't tell you that it lives inside the voicemails you saved and can't bring yourself to delete. They don't tell you that it hits you in the grocery store when you reach for the brand of coffee they used to drink. They don't tell you that you'll have a whole conversation with them in your head 3 years after they're gone, and the silence where their answer should be will knock the breath right out of you. Most videos about grief give you a framework, a set of tools. This video isn't going to do that. This video is going to sit with you in it, the way someone should have sat with you from the beginning. Ryan Hartley. Ryan is 38 years old. He works in logistics in Cleveland, Ohio. He has 2 daughters, 7 and 9. He coaches the older one's soccer team. By every external measure, he is a man who has his life together. His father, Robert Hartley, died 14 months ago. Heart attack, sudden, no warning. Robert was 68 years old. Ryan and his father were not estranged. They weren't broken. They just didn't say the things. They talked about football, about the weather, about the kids, about anything except what was actually true, that Ryan had modeled his entire sense of what it meant to be a man on the quiet, steady presence of his father. And he had never once told him that, not once. In 38 years, after the funeral, after all the casseroles and the condolence cards, and the people saying he was in a better place, Ryan went back to work 2 weeks later. Everyone said he was handling it so well, was not handling it. Ryan was drowning. He just didn't know how to say so, because nobody had ever shown him that drowning was allowed. 6 months in, his wife, Laura, told him she was scared. Not for him. She was scared of who he was becoming, the man who came home and sat in the dark, the man who flinched when his daughters tried to hug him, the man who had locked the grief in a room inside himself and was slowly suffocating in there with it. Ryan told me, "I thought I was protecting them. I thought if I didn't show it, it wasn't real. I didn't understand that the grief was coming out anyway. Just sideways, in all the wrong directions." If any part of that sounds familiar, keep watching. Simmons lost her husband, Frank, 4 years ago. Frank was her high school sweetheart. They were married 41 years. People kept asking her if she was over it yet. Over it, like grief, is a stomach bug. I wanted to say, I will never be over it. I will never be over Frank, but I have learned to live with the weight of him being gone. It doesn't get lighter. You just get stronger, and some days you don't feel strong at all, and that's allowed too. Grief is not a problem to be solved. It is a love that has nowhere left to go. And if you are refusing to feel it right now, that is not the same as moving past it. It is just moving it underground, where it will do more damage for longer. When you lose someone, you know you're losing them. What you don't know is everything else that goes with them. Patricia Mayen lost her mother, Carol, to Alzheimer's 3 years ago. Carol had been declining for 7 years before she died. Patricia thought she was prepared for the death, prepared for what came after. After Mom died, I realized I'd lost my whole emotional home. She was the person I called when something good happened. She was the person who knew my whole story. Without her, I felt like, who witnesses my life now? Who will remember the little girl I was? I hadn't just lost my mother. I had lost the keeper of my history. This is called secondary loss. The losses that arrive long after the funeral is over hardly is not unusual. The research is deeply consistent. Men in the Western world are catastrophically unprepared for grief. Men are socialized to approach grief as a problem to be managed rather than an emotion to be felt. They return to work quickly, minimize their distress, and are far less likely to seek support. The result is what we call delayed grief, suppressed emotional processing that emerges later as depression, substance misuse, physical illness, or relational breakdown. Dr. Thomas Golden, psychotherapist, author of Swallowed by a Snake, The Gift of the Masculine Side of Healing. James Whitfield, 62, lost his son Marcus in a car accident 5 years ago. Marcus was 27. He had just gotten engaged. James went back to his contracting business 10 days after the funeral. He told himself it was for the workers who depended on him. It was not. It was the only thing that made me feel like I existed. If I stopped, I'd have to be still, and still meant Marcus was gone. I worked 7 days a week for 2 years. My wife Sandra almost left me. She said she'd lost both of them, her son and her husband. I was physically present and completely gone. James Whitfield, 62, general contractor, Nashville, Tennessee. James eventually walked through the door of a grief support group. He said it was the hardest thing he has ever done. He said the second time he walked in, it was easy. He said, I spent 2 years thinking grief was the enemy. It wasn't. The enemy was the silence I'd built around it. There is grief for the person, and then there is grief for what was never said. Catherine Dawson, 67, lost her father, William, 6 years ago. William was a complicated man, a good provider, a difficult presence. Catherine and her father had years of distance between them. In his final 2 years, they were slowly finding their way back. He died before they finished finding it. We were getting there. I know we were. There were phone calls in the last year that I had been waiting my whole life for. And then he had the stroke, and all those conversations we hadn't finished, they just stopped. I carry the incompleteness of it everywhere. It's not regret exactly. It's more like an unfinished sentence. In the middle of the most important paragraph, my friend Edward Park, 79, has been a hospice volunteer for 12 years. He has sat with hundreds of people in their final hours. He says the same words surface over and over. Nobody tells me they wish they had worked more. Nobody mentions the bigger house. What they tell me almost every single time is that they wish they had said the things they were saving for later. That they wish they had made the call, sent the letter, had the conversation later is the most expensive word in the English language. There is still time to not have this regret. I am not being dramatic, I am being precise. The person you have been meaning to call is reachable right now. The thing you have been meaning to say can still be said. Not later, this week. When later becomes that Tuesday morning in October, it will be too late to argue with me. After a loss, people will say things. They will say everything happens for a reason. They will say, at least they lived a long life. They will say, they wouldn't want you to be sad. They will say, you're so strong, and you will nod, and thank them, and feel more alone than you did before they spoke. Melissa Thornton lost her brother, David, to cancer 3 years ago. David was 45. He left behind a wife and 3 young children. The worst thing someone said was, God needed another angel. David was 45. His kids needed their father. I smiled and said thank you, and I drove home and screamed in my car for 15 minutes. What I needed, what I actually needed, was for someone to sit next to me and not try to fix it, just be there. Nobody did that until my friend Karen showed up on a Thursday night with a bottle of wine and said, I don't know what to say. I just didn't want you to be alone. That one sentence meant more than everything else combined. If someone you love is grieving right now, you don't need the right words. You need to show up. You need to stay. You need to say, I don't know what to say, and then be quiet and be there. That is it. That is everything. The kind of grief that gets almost no attention. It is the grief you feel while the person is still alive. Michael Brennan, 51, has been caring for his mother Helen since her Parkinson's diagnosis 4 years ago. Helen is 78. She still knows Michael most days. People look at me strangely when I say I'm grieving. She's right there, they say. But the woman who taught me to ride a bike, who knew every story about my childhood, who laughed at exactly the same things I laugh at. That woman is leaving slowly, one piece at a time. I grieve her every week, sometimes every day, and nobody talks about this grief because it has no funeral. This is called anticipatory grief, and it is one of the most isolating experiences a person can have. Givers often feel guilty for grieving someone still alive. This guilt prevents them from seeking support, significantly worsening their well-being. If you are watching someone you love get older, if you are already feeling the grief of what is coming, that feeling is not a betrayal, it is love running ahead of the loss. And the answer is not to look away from what is coming. The answer is to turn toward what is still here. Dorothy Reed is 81 years old. She has buried a husband, a sister, 2 close friends, and a son. Her son, Thomas, died of a heart attack at 53. Dorothy has a shelf in her living room. On it, photographs of everyone she has lost. She calls it her company. Used to tell me I should put the photos away, that keeping them out was morbid. I said, I don't want to move on. I want to carry them forward. There is a difference. Moving on suggests they're behind you. I carry Thomas. I carry Edward. I carry all of them into every day. That is not sadness. That is how I stay in relationship with the people I love. George Murphy is 77. He lost his wife, Anne, 9 years ago. They were together for 52 years. First year I thought I was going to die of it. I genuinely did, and I didn't. It changed shape. Now it's more like a companion than an enemy. I still talk to Anne every morning. I say, what do you think about this? And I wait, and something comes. You don't stop loving them. You just find new ways to love someone who isn't there anymore. This is what grief looks like after many years. Not the absence of the person, but a changed relationship with them. They do not disappear. You learn to carry them differently. Stop for a moment. I want to ask you something. Answer it honestly. Not for me, just for yourself right now. Is there someone in your life whose number you have in your phone that one day you will not be able to call? A parent, a grandparent, an old friend who isn't well, someone who is here now, reachable right now. You already know who I'm talking about. Their name just came into your head. Daniel Collins thought he had more time. Ryan Hartley thought he had more time. Every person in this video thought they had more time. I am not trying to frighten you. I am trying to reach you, because the difference between grief and peace is often just one phone call, one visit, one conversation that stopped waiting for the right moment and became the right moment. You don't have to finish this video first. Made one decision. Not a grand gesture, not a transformation. One decision. He told Laura the truth. Not the managed version. He sat at that same kitchen table, the table where he'd been sitting in the dark, and he said, I am not okay. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be in grief and still be your husband and still be their father. I don't know how. And Laura said, you don't have to know how. We'll figure it out. He went to a grief counselor 3 weeks later. He cried in the first session. It was the first time he had cried since the funeral, 9 months earlier. He said, I thought crying meant I was broken. It turned out crying was the only thing that worked. It was the only thing that made any of it move. Go. He still coaches his daughter's soccer team. He talks to his daughters about their grandfather. He tells them stories. He lets them know who Robert Hartley was. He is keeping his father alive, the only way left, in the people who carry his memory forward. Grief does not end, but it changes, and the change begins the moment you stop fighting it and start letting it be what it actually is. Love, with nowhere left to go, finding a new way to go somewhere. Is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Silence is. The phone call you didn't make is. The conversation you kept saving for later is. If this video reached something in you, if a name came to you and you haven't called yet, stop this video. Call them now. If you are in the middle of grief right now, if you are Ryan sitting in the dark kitchen, tell one person today the true version. And if you are watching someone age, if you are Michael walking his mother through the garden, make the memory this month, not later. My name is Mr. Samuel Griffin, and this channel exists for one reason: to say the things nobody else is willing to say before it's too late to hear them. Subscribe if this reached you. Share it with someone who needs it. Download our action template One Thing This Week for free. Link below. We'll be here. The conversation isn't over.